Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. Today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the vaccine passports and the pushback that seems to be happening wherever they're being mandated. It seems rather odd that anyone would push back on vaccine passports because all of us, when we were kids growing up through school, had to make sure we had certain shots, and we had to keep track of it, and we had to prove that we had our shots. Polio, measles, chickenpox. We all went to the doctor for those shots. We all had to prove that we had them so that we could go to schools, so that we could go anywhere. So we've always had these passports. COVID is just another item on that list. It makes no sense that that passport, the measles, polio, etc., is accepted, but COVID's not. So we can send our children to school, we can go to different businesses and prove that we've got our shot for polio, for example, or smallpox, but COVID, no, that's drawing the line. That makes no sense. Why wouldn't you want to prove that you are healthy? Going to a restaurant, restaurants want to make sure that they don't get anybody else sick, so all their staff has to prove they've been vaccinated. And anyone that comes into their restaurant, they want to make sure nobody gets sick in there, either through other customers or from staff, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure everyone is protected. That's how businesses will get opened up again. That's how we'll get to a new state of normal, whatever normal is, but that's how we'll be able to move forward. We won't be able to move forward by denying that there is an issue, by denying that COVID doesn't exist, that people don't get sick, that the variants that are cropping up are going to hurt people. We're seeing more and more children now being infected as a result of the Delta variant. Well, if you have been reading the news, and hopefully you have, there are other variants that are even stronger. And the longer it takes for us to show that we have been vaccinated, for anyone to be vaccinated, the longer it's going to take for businesses to open up, and the closer those more deadly variants come. They will get closer to us, and they will start spreading if there's still a huge amount of people not wanting to be vaccinated or show that they've been vaccinated through the use of a vaccine passport. I'm not going to want to go into a huge crowd, whether it be a concert, a hockey game, a football game, a busy restaurant, a mall, wherever large groups gather, if a significant number of them can't prove that they've been vaccinated. They could be spreading germs. There are people in the world who sometimes have, quote, the flu, but show very minimal signs, yet they're spreading that flu virus to other people on their train during their morning commute or in the office, to their neighbor, to people in their home. So getting the vaccine and showing the vaccine passport is, I think, a responsibility we all have. If we're responsible to show that we're not going to catch or spread polio or anything along that lines, then why can't we do it for COVID? It makes no sense. We want to be open, but we're not going to make sure we're vaccinated. Even dogs have to have a couple of needles before they're socialized with other dogs and can intermingle with other people. That's accepted. And we have to prove that. But yet we're not doing the same thing for ourselves with vaccine passports. And it's not going to be forever either. It's until we get back to, or not actually get back to, we should be able to learn some lessons here and move forward so we can get to a new state of what we will call normal. Passports aren't going to be around forever, but they're going to be around here currently with so many people who are in denial and don't want to carry a passport, don't want to get a needle, or whatever the case may be. Everyone has to have a driver's license. For many insurance policies, you have to prove you've got certain shots or don't have certain diseases or health concerns. People follow through on that. So what's the difference with COVID? It makes no sense. Passports are good. I want to have a sociable life again, where I can go to restaurants or bars or a concert. That can't happen if I'm standing beside a bunch of people who aren't vaccinated, who don't care what their health concern is. And that's fine. You have that choice. If you don't care about your health and you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. That's your choice. My choice is I don't want to get sick as a result of you. And this argument that I don't need to have a passport to go into all these different places because the public is allowed in all these places. Well, I got news for you. Governments don't own these restaurants or these malls or these other shops. They're all privately owned by individuals who don't want to get sick, don't want their customers sick. So they have every right to turn around and say, you can't come in. This is a private business. Let's say it's a paint store. It's a private business and the public is invited in. So they have every right to say what part of the public can't come in. If you're not vaccinated, you can't come in. You ever hear no shirt, no shoes, no service? No vaccine passport, no service either. And don't give me the argument that it's against your freedoms. That makes no sense. It's not freedoms, historical freedoms to not get the jab, not have a passport. We've all needed to prove who we are at some point. We have passports, driver's license, health cards, any sort of membership card to prove who we are, and that way we can go into places. We buy tickets to prove who we are to go into a concert or some dinner theater or whatever the case may be. This is no different. Here's how I am, and I got my needle, I can come in. That makes no sense. It's my freedom, I can do what I want. You can do what you want. Don't forget, you're responsible for the decisions you make. Nobody else is. You are. And if you don't want to follow vaccine passports or even get the vaccine, well, then you're responsible for the outcomes. Nobody else, you are. Stop pointing the finger at everybody else and take a look in the mirror. That's what's missing today. And that's the problem with these vaccine passports. No one wants to take responsibility for their own actions. I want to do what I want to do. Well, that's fine. Just remember, current polls show that 75%, at least here in Canada, at least 75% want vaccine passports. So the 25% of you that don't want them, well, then you're going to be responsible for the outcome of your decision. I accept your decision if you don't want to use it, but it doesn't mean you get to do what you want. You're accountable and responsible for your own actions or your own inaction. You want to get back to some sort of normal society? Then buckle up for a couple of months and do the right thing. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave a message and let me know what your thoughts are. If you'd like to be a guest on the show to talk about something related to business continuity, disaster management, COVID, personal well-being, anything that's relatable to those subjects, you can reach me through my LinkedIn profile, which is in the video description. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. In the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.